Let's go. We roll up every morning with a smile on our face. Soap fans in the house, we're picking up the pace.
Hello, everyone. This is Phoenix Tremaine, and today we're going to be talking about who shot Drew in General Hospital. But first, if you haven't done so, please take a minute to subscribe, like, share, comment, do all the YouTube things. It helps out the channel so much. So I would really appreciate it if you did those things for me. It's free to do. And so thank you so much in advance. If you do any of that, we also have a membership. We get early access to videos such as this one. We also have a live show that we do on Fridays. And if you're a member and you can't make it, you can watch the playback where we talk about all the spoilers and just life and things that's going on. So, without further ado, I want to say one more thing. I hope you enjoyed the snippet of the new Soap Fan theme song. If you're a member, you can see the whole video. It's 2 minutes and 16 seconds. But it's a fun video, it's a fun song, and I really like it. So I hope you like it too. But I decided to slide that little teaser in there. So I hope you like the teaser. But now we're going to get into who shot Drew. We're going to talk about who most likely did not do it first. And then we're going to talk about the people that are the top suspects. And we're going to end with the wild cards, people who aren't currently suspects, but when all is said and done, they could also have done it too. So we have some wild cards too. We're going to begin with the people who most likely did not shoot Drew. And that first person is going to be Sonny Corinthos. He has not been made to look like he did it. Plus, the silhouette looks like a woman. So here is the silhouette standing over him. Um, if you watched the show, then you saw the sort of silhouette move or shadow move over him. It really looks like a woman. So I don't think Sonny did it. And of course, I think he would have had somebody else do it if Sonny had done it, despite the fact that he got rid of John Jagger Cates himself. That was personal. But I don't think he did it. Curtis is next up. He could have done it, but most likely he did not do it. He seems like a red herring, and I'll talk more about that when I get to Portia. A red herring, for those who don't know, is when a show or a movie try to make you think someone did it, but they definitely didn't do it. And I think Curtis falls in the definitely did not do it category. Also, in the did not do it category is, of course, Carly. Carly was acting suspicious, but that's what happens when you're a red herring. You act suspicious. But I think that when she went to Brennan for help, she would have been like Jocelyn and tried to make sure she had her back covered, or she would have went to Sunny and tried to make sure her back was covered. I think right now she's more worried about whether or not Michael did it and want to cover for him versus covering for herself. Another person who a lot of people I'm sure think did it would be Nina, but most likely, or most definitely, she could have done it. Nina definitely was probably on her way over there to do it, but I think somebody got there before she did, and it felt like with those scenes that she saw Willow was there, and maybe she's trying to protect Willow um, by trying to get them both to be each other's alibis. But she's too easy of a suspect. There's really no shock factor in Nina being the person who did it, and I think she would have been a better shot. You know, whoever shot Drew, they didn't go for the head and they shot him twice and he was on the ground. So I think Nina is a much better shot than possibly Willow or one of the other suspects. Now we're going to move on to Portia because Portia was definitely a suspect, but she more than proved that she didn't do it. First of all, she saved Drew's life when she could have had an accident while working on him. but she did her job. She did what she's supposed to do, and she also expressed that if the blackmail came out, she's most likely be fine with it because she was just tired. So if she's that tired, then she's tired enough not to go ahead and pow him and then turn around to save him. When she got the call that she had to go to the hospital, she was in bed with Isaiah and she was doing her thing. So, so yeah, Portia definitely is not a suspect. And I think that if she had shot Drew and jumped into bed with Isaiah, then she would have been expecting that phone call. But this is what I meant when I said once I get back to Portia, both Curtis and Portia are only on the suspect list because the writers wanted to force them together. Although she has already started moving on with Isaiah, he is now in the same position he was in with Jordan when Jordan was trying to be a double agent and um, working what's his name, Sidwell. So yeah, I think this is just a storyline point to sort of like show that Jordan's moving on. I mean, sorry, Portia's moving on, and now instead of her just getting that divorce and being with Isaiah, now they've got to pretend to be the happy couple so that no one suspects they had a motive. Moving on to Alexis. Alexis is also in this pile of most likely did not do it. A lot of it because the same reason Nina. I think Alexis would have been a better shot. I think she definitely would have made sure he was gone, especially with that second shot. Seems like another red herring. They already have her deep in the plot with Rick. I don't think they're seriously adding her as a suspect for the shooting because, like I said, she's deep in that Rick plot of kidnapping him. So, no, I don't think Alexis did it. I also do not think Michael did it. I think that Michael was there, but I think that Michael was there. He may have even intended to do it, but I think somebody beat him to it. And then he realized maybe he should have heard a shot outside and realized he needed to hurry up and get an alibi. That's how him and Jacinda ends up together, which is, I think his story will focus on him being involved with Jacinda. Now that Sasha is gone, because remember, it was the actor's choice to leave the show. I think she could be a new love interest, and and just like Curtis and Portia, they need each other as alibis. And I think this is the way of testing the waters with Michael and Jacinda if they want to go there. Um, so once again, it's more of a situation about alibis and not who actually did it. And now we're going to get to the people who really didn't do it. A lot of people have been saying that they think Danny did it. I don't think Danny had enough motivation to be the one that did it. He was mad about Scout, but I don't think it was enough to get rid of Drew. I know they are trying to make him impulsive like Jason, but he isn't that far gone. He's still written as if he's a kid, not some assassin. And also the person who I definitely don't think did it. And I had been arguing on social media since the shooting, saying this little girl did not shoot Drew. Scout. Some people are looking at Scout as a possibility, but I don't think she has a strong enough motive to actually put on a disguise, wear gloves, shoot her father not once but twice. That would make no sense. On Days of Our Lives, from the beginning, Rachel was my top suspect, and she's a little girl too. But Rachel was also involved in a kidnapping, and EJ made her grandmother disappear, so she was not as innocent as Scout. So she is not a suspect on my radar at all, even though people continue to argue that, oh no, maybe Scout did. No, Scout did not do it. That shadow was a grown woman or a grown man, but most likely a grown woman who tried to get rid of Drew. And it ain't Scott. Now, moving on to my top suspects. Now, let's really get into who could have done it. So, there are certain characters I feel are throwaway characters, meaning if they shot Drew and they went to jail or had to leave the show or whatever, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. So that's why Sidwell, I don't really see him as a long term villain, but he has possibilities to be a long-term villain. But he's still a throwaway character that is an easy out for those who've done it. But the writers also have said that Sidwell is an opponent that does not use violence. He is a more of tactical, which is why it's harder for Sonny to go after him because it's not just, a mob war or whatever. Sidwell was, paying off judges and playing the long game. He's not, targeting Sonny as he's been targeted in the past. But on the other hand, Marco, he's impulsive, so he is also a throwaway character that may have done it and withdrew dealings with Sidwell. He could be convinced not to snitch on Marco. So he is on the suspect list as a possibility because he's been really impulsive, trying to avenge his mother. And he really wants to get back at Sonny. And Drew was getting in the way. And Sidwell and Marco did both have a discussion where they said something needs to be done about Drew. So after they go through the whole suspect list, they may come down to Sidwell or Marco as a characters that could have done it. But they're not my top suspect. They're the top suspects in the sense that they could have done it. I can see it. But the person who I think actually did it, the person who I think actually shot Drew is Willow. Now, she's the top suspect that probably did it. She is mentally unstable right now. And she may have thought that she could have gotten let me go back. She is mentally unstable right now, and she may have thought that she could have convinced Michael to let her see her kids if Drew was all the way out of the picture. It would also be foreshadowing because Drew was looking at her picture and he was holding that ring when he got shot. So, how ironic would it be if Willow was the one that tried to take him out? And if Drew is as obsessed with Willow as we've seen him be, he might even forgive her for shooting him, you know, because he could use it as blackmail to try and murder her. And other reasons why I feel like Willow could have done it, because let me go down. You know, Drew showed his true colors when he tried to put an end to her friendship with Chase. And finally, Willow fainting. That is what I believe to be a telltale sign of something going on with her mental health. Because the last time she fainted, she ended up in the hospital in a catatonic state and then started playing hide the baby. The rumor at one time was that Willow has multiple personality and she turns into Nell after fainting, but that's just a wild theory. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but way back when they did the wedding, I was sitting there waiting to see if the rumors were true that when she looked in that mirror, was Nell gonna look back at her. But that's just a wild theory that actually could turn out to be true, or maybe, just maybe, Willow's a villain now. And she shot him just because she thought it could help convince Michael to let her see her kids if he was gone. With Willow already having established mental health issues, a quick trip to Ferncliff, and then she's right back to Port Charles trying to get her kids back, just like Chelsea over on the rest of it. She went to the mental institution for like a couple of months and then she was like right on out. So Willow could even claim temporary insanity, um, and have a get out of the mental institution quick card, you know. But now, finally, I want to talk about the wild cards. The wild cards are characters that you would never think did it, but it would make sense that if they sprung it up on us out of nowhere, that, yeah, you can see that they probably did it. And I'm going to say somebody who might surprise you because first up is Marshall. What was the point of Stella mentioning that Marshall was coming to town? And right, before the shooting, we didn't see him. It doesn't mean he didn't actually come to town. That he's a throwaway character. He's not currently a cast member, and they could easily say Marshall did it to protect Curtis, Portia, and Steph. So I think as a wild card, Marshall, just because they mentioned him, prior to the shooting, Stella mentioned him prior to the shooting, um, and how much he cares for her and the family, that could also be foreshadowing that when all is said and done, he might have done it. But the final person I want to talk about is going to be Nathan. Um, Nathan is a wild card because Ryan Pavey is coming back to the show. They claim that he's coming back as Nathan. And Britt, when she was talking to Pascal, and he was saying, he gave me orders to get rid of you. And they keep calling him. They won't say his name. That's another clue that it's going to be Nathan. Although the writers described his character as a member of the Faison family, um, which would be Nathan, and that they described him as diabolical. And we also learned that he was out of town when the shooting happened. And so this person who is supposedly Nathan that Anna's going to be investigating, that remember Britt was saying that he was out of town and that, they were waiting for him to come back. And we also know that Sidwell is working for him and he's trying to get these peers. And that Sidwell, Marco, or somebody may have told him, which is Nathan, that Drew was getting in the way. So he may have took a quick trip to go ahead and take care of Drew because he was messing up his business dealing with Sidwell and the professor that's in Port Charles. And so that's why my second wild card is Nathan. But I'm gonna go and I don't know if I said this already, but I think that Nathan's actually gonna turn out to be Peter, but he's had like plastic surgery to look like Nathan, probably because he's obsessed with Maxie. And because Nathan was the love of Maxie's life, he probably wants to look like Nathan to try to win Maxie over back in 2026 when she comes back to the show. Because Kirsten, who plays Maxie, said that she's coming back with a big storyline, and Nathan's return, especially if Nathan's really Peter, would be a big storyline. So, in closing, I'll put this picture back up. The silhouette looks like a woman and had Willow's hairstyle. That doesn't really mean anything in the long run. There have been times when the soap writers have revealed they didn't choose who did it until the last minute, or that they had to change who did it because the person was too popular to have to go to prison or leave the show. So it really could be anybody. But to me, the person is most likely going to be Willow. And so now I turn it over to you in the comment section. Let me know, who do you think did it? And I will see you in the next video.
Come on, get ready, let's go. We roll up every morning with a smile on our face. Soap fans in the house, we're picking up the pace. Lather up the laughter, scrub away the day. Shining bright together, we're washing worries away.